All right, let's talk about your new band some more, man. Yeah, you want to talk about any? Covered a lot, I guess.
Yeah, I figured, if there's any real drummers things or drum things or, there's other things that I kind of like talking about in relation to drums or
Okay.
the approach to drums,
Yeah.
or my approach to rhythm in relationship to a band.
Yeah.
And,
I don't know if you want to get into all that or not. Good, I'm good.
I love talking about the other stuff. I
Yeah.
feel that like it's essential because like that's where somebody is before anything else happens. So I didn't want to let you know that the way I approach the music and drums is from a very respected viewpoint. I respect the music very highly. I respect the drums, even the physical instruments. And I found that like the more time you spend with them physically, even like tuning them, cleaning them, touching them.
Yeah, you're pretty fanatical about that.
A bit.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. And I found that they respond to that, like plants respond.
Right.
I found really that drums really respond to you, how much time you personally take. Not if you have a roadie to set everything up and clean it up, clean the drums and everything. That's fine. Not really necessary. But the time that you spend with them is the time that is valuable, so that they will give it back to you. The drums, I believe that the drums literally give back to you what you give to them, whether it's aside from just practicing, but the strength and the purity of your thoughts as far as motivation is concerned while sitting there and using the drums. So that it almost becomes sacred to you, the respect that you have with them, and they respond back to you in that manner.
Do you get, like at the rehearsal tonight, I noticed after the rehearsal, cats that weren't even involved with the band were going up and poking around on the tubs and stuff like that. Does that bother you?
It used to bother me, except that now, I kind of appreciate the fact that they want to touch them and see what it's about, because it's a good thing for people to become interested in music and instruments, and perhaps they'd never been able to approach a drum set, just touch a drum or bang on it or something. Just for them to get an understanding of that, even at that level, means every time they go hear music, they'll have that with them.
That identification. But how did you get started playing touch?
I was in the 7th grade and walking by the band room, junior high school, and the orchestra was playing, and the drum section was closest to the door. And I used to go by there and watch them all the time. And then I became interested about some records and went down to the local rug shop and got 3 rug samples, and that was my first sample.
3 rug samples?
Yeah. And then I had 2 snare drums that I used for snare drum and tom-tom. And I didn't get my first set until after my first tour. I was just at high school.
I wanted to ask you from a mental standpoint, you're I see so many guys, that like want to be quote unquote stars, and they approach the music more from that angle than from an artistic angle, or from you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you've been quote unquote a star, right? You're a well-known band. What's you have any thoughts on that? Or?
Yes. Yeah. The way I feel about that is the way that I remember myself naturally for some reason, like really intuitively being, having this frame of mind while I was in Santana. And I was young. I was the youngest member of the group, and there was a lot of money involved. A lot of acclaim, and I've never approached music for money. I've always taken chances, right, and done things I felt. And so when that happened, I tried to sustain that. For some reason, I just didn't jump into like the star trip, and tried to sustain like a real learning process, and seen it as a valuable learning experience. And I think I'm basing like myself right now from the same belief that like success comes to you when you totally follow through with yourself, inwardly in what it is that you want to do, right, and that you check your motivations, constantly why you're doing it. And it's fair enough if somebody wants to do it to be a star, and they say, I want to do it to be a star, and they, or to entertain or this thing. I always approach it as being a musician and, trying to, to match the craft, to become a craftsman, like, who were to be masters, for the same way that they did. And the Santana was a perfect place to do it because there was so much drum music, so many, time changes and this and that I tried to handle every change, or every song, really creatively, and and the band was a fiery band too, so I tried not to let myself just slip into it, and I practiced a lot. I practiced.
You didn't say like that when I should have I'm 18.
No, I didn't. You trip out for a while and you do things and this and that. Really, and I did too. But while on the road, always I enjoyed practicing. So I used to bring a practice set with me. A padded set.
Remote sets and stuff. Yeah.
With headphones and just practicing. Practicing just with sticks and a pad.
Yeah, it seems strange. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can sit down and rap with you. Most of the cats I've talked to, any of Levon, Helm comes on. Have you ever met him? Travel.
I've met him once or twice, but I don't know him.
Nice cat, but things seem strange, and I don't know. Is it? On a one-to-one, it's like human beings, but a lot of the people outside of music, people that aren't musicians, they approach them almost like, it seems like kind of a freak show, that they really have no idea, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm phrasing that right, but
I understand what you're saying.
That in other words, it seemed to me like you're doing something, you're a musician or a human being first, then you just happen to be a musician, a drummer, and you had some success, but you're still a musician and a human being, and just the other stuff is just like, it seemed to me to be incidental and whatever, Is that true, or?
You mean the fringe benefits, or the
people seem to think like that.
Peripherals.
Yeah. This guy must be into it because Billy was mentioning that it seemed to me that he wasn't quite in tune with that. Well, you can only buy so many Ferraris, so many. Yeah, that's not to me what music is all about.
It's not quite that. It's not. I mean, you could go there and come back from there. True. You can go out and buy all the Ferraris or something and come back from that. But and that's fine too. I mean, whatever you have to do. The thing I think the thing is to recall your initial motivation. Your initial reason for playing. To try to revert back to what you felt when you first felt that you wanted to play.
Yeah.
Why it was, and kind of observe yourself as developing, and you. I think it's important to go back to those motivations all the time, so that you always keep and an endeavoring process about you.
Keep things in perspective.
In perspective, definitely, so that you don't forget where you came from,
Yeah.
and you don't stop striving for that, what it is you're trying to express. And the more that you do that, then you find the more that there is that you want to express, So you have to work harder even then, So to me, the more successful you become, really, in fact, the harder you have to work. In the way I see it, if you're being true to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have to always transcend yourself. You always have to go past where you are.
Yeah. Just think if you felt that you were in a position where you weren't growing, then get out of it, man. Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean, I that's why I prefer to create my own situation.
Yeah.
And now, and I feel confident enough that I can come to terms with my experience enough to say, well, yes, I mean, I definitely should be able to do something. I mean, I feel this way, and I've got this, and this feeling, and I should be able to put it into a concrete form, and manifest itself in music with a band.
What does you were talking before, does this band have sort of a group philosophy?
Yeah.
Music-wise, what would that be?
Music-wise,
or whatever,
The group, which is called Patterns.
Patterns, yeah.
Sees itself as a dynamically positive force that lies within the structure of the music world, the music business, entertainment world, the entertainment business, in relationship to the mass public that receives all of these businesses endeavors.
Yeah.
I have an intuitive feeling that, and I think it's because I was, again, so young in front of so many people, that I have an intuitive feeling that what I feel, they feel. And, I mean, what I feel, if I can express it, they will acknowledge that they feel it.
They'll pick up on it?
Yes. I mean, they'll relate it to their own personal experience.
Yeah.
Whether they can express it or not is not the point. But if I express it, I feel that they will respond to it, and that they will more or less oscillate with that, And so what my brother and I have attempted to do is to put a music together that calls on the masses to rise, to really rise, and to take a lot of the mystique out of people that are doing things, really doing things, to take away the separativeness between the creative people and the people that consider themselves not creative. Essentially, the reason why is because we feel that all people are here to be creative. And whether it's creative with their life or whether it's creative in any aspect, it's our duty to be creative with our lives.
We were talking about reincarnation before. You believe in reincarnation?
Most definitely.
So do you think that you're fulfilling your purpose in this lifetime?
Yes.
Yeah?
Most definitely. And it's only has a lot to do with that sense of purpose that I feel that we've been able to put a band together like this that is going to be very commercially viable, as well as lift people out of their chairs, exciting music, and real festive experience, or, the full gamut of emotions, and
So you're not going. In other words, I think maybe you're not going to limit yourselves. Whatever you want to do with that band.
oh, no, we're not going to limit ourselves at all. I mean, we have like talent in the band that is like we planned long term. We have like Sam Morrison playing keyboards, who was saxophone player, played with Miles Davis for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like an incredible composer. Like, he's playing keyboards and singing. He's never done that before.
I lost my smokes. Go ahead.
And other people in the group are the same way, because
Who are the guys in the band?
let's see, that's Sam Morrison. He's playing saxophone and keyboards. Brian Gadula is playing bass.
Yeah.
Ryan's from San Francisco. Brian and I played together like in our first band in high school.
Really? Yeah. That's exciting.
And Ron Rinaldi is the second guitar player.
Right.
And I found Ron in a cafe, a little restaurant out by where I live in Grandview.
Yeah. California?
No, New York.
New York.
And
Right.
that's
Sorry.
called The Turning Point. He was singing, folk songs.
Yeah. Really?
James Taylor, Joni Mitchell,
Wow.
Eagles, some things, And I've always loved that kind of music.
Yeah.
Always felt it a part of my expression. And sometimes I write those kind of things on guitar. And always I've wanted to have that aspect of a band. There's a voice and a song that just reaches everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was Ron right there. And let's see, John Ballesteros, the other percussionist, is from Rockland County.
Yeah, he's excellent at that.
Yeah, he plays excellent drums.
Does he? Yeah.
Better than he plays others. Sings and funniest guys, right? Very, very talented. And then there's my brother Kevin.
How old's he?
He's 25.
Really?
And so the last project that he did was he did Alfonso Jones's.
He was in the band or just produced it?
He played. And, prior to that, we had already begun to work together.
Yeah.
Before that, he just been struggling around. Played with Bobby Womack for a while. And I especially have a high respect for my brother because of the things that he's been through in order to get to where he is. Especially being my brother.
Yeah, really.
Around a lot of guitar players, and just kind of becoming invisible to a lot of people. And I also feel that it's his time now. Also, he's a visionary.
He is. Yes.
A lot of the songs that he wrote, we have yet to see. The time has come. Where there's lines like,
right.
Well, the truly wise, they tell you, rise, children, rise up to the sky. We have yet to see. Just like a lot of things where I know that he is a true visionary. Our relationship has gone past the usual brother relationship where I really feel that, we've been brought together into the same blood, to do something. And that's why it's such a deep experience that, since we've committed ourselves to it. And there's an unlimited amount of trust, unlimited amount of faith in each other that is constantly fed back and forth in order to make the band happen. So that's why I know that it's also really magical to the status there.
What do we name? Let's see. We got them all. Hold on. So you're bringing in Klaus?
Klaus Schultz
From Germany, right?
Klaus, was the original Tangerine Dream and one of, one handful of, the world's greatest synthesizer players.
Yeah.
synthesizer players are a funny breed. Since they have to create from scratch, they all, wow, it's interesting. They all,
I hadn't thought about that, creating from
they all have to. So it's sort of very set in like certain things. Klaus expresses, so much of what it is that we want. My working with him with Stone was good, but not enough. And I feel this will be a really incredible experience, like for it to be joined together.
He's going to be like playing full time.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Have you heard Gil Evans, a big band, in the last couple of years, so from '71 up to the present?
Yes.
Stuff, you like the stuff he's doing with synthesizer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like some of it, I like some of it, let me say that. And I'm very critical about a lot of those things,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very critical about like synthesis, and very critical about percussion, and very critical about a lot of things. And so, just because like a synthesizer player does an album, like it doesn't blow my mind.
Oh no, like a lot of the Dick Hyman things with synthesizer.
Yeah, and even some of the more respected people. I mean, without mentioning any names, I like temperamental, I suppose,
Right.
And into an expression that I feel is like it was total expression to be fulfilled, and that's why it has to be this size of a band, because and I've always dreamed, having other foundings too. So,
Yeah. Are you going to play any melodic, drums and so pretty much playing that?
I do, but I don't think I'll play vibes. Maybe on some recordings, but
Yeah.
something like electronic percussion, I probably will do melodic things on those. Syndrome. Probably you won't even notice that instrument, that the second. I'd like to the concept, that my brother and I just like the earth and the heavens, so like this rhythm,
Right.
with like synthesis representing like the heavens,
Yeah.
You should get the light up.
I'll
I was gonna
definitely
pick it up
do that.
for you today and bring it in case you hadn't.
Yeah, Japan, I want.
Oh, yeah.
Really, so
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about it. Be very, very aware of dynamics. Look, everybody in the band came up and said, "Hey, is it too loud?" Which is, but nice.
Yeah. It's like people coming in with, the point is that you want to like reach people. When I say that, the reason I just pause is because like I want to reach people, and I feel that that going back to that fact where when I say reach people, I don't mean that I'm gearing it to people. It's like it's a song that has to be sung,
Right.
and has to project, and it comes from a place within us that we feel.
Yeah.
So it's not just saying I want to reach. At the same time, I do want to get a hit record,
Right.
and feel no conflict within myself in saying that. Because, quite frankly, I like,
A lot of them now.
not a lot of them. No.
I think to me,
Frankly, right now I can't say I haven't been listening, but I mean a lot of the records, and I listen to now's a bad time.
all right.
A lot of new releases.
Is there anything that you like constantly find yourself going back to and throwing on the turntable? And
Yeah, of course.
I always go back to the old to Muddy Waters stuff, something like that.
Well, let's see. Months, let's say, going back to a lot of percussion records,
Yeah.
Oh, in the last, let's see, Linda Ronstadt even.
Yeah.
A lot of. Although I find myself being more critical than ever, currently I find myself going to a lot of African percussion music.
Percussion ensembles.
Percussion ensembles.
Yeah.
One of the projects that, for instance, that the band will do is to have a band, a drum and bugle corps.
Really?
Yeah.
Sponsor a drum and bugle corps?
Because I love it, and like a lot of the drum and bugle corps are doing fantastic things.
Yeah.
And let's see what else.
Have you met him?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
Supposed to be a really beautiful cat, man.
He's very disciplined as a drummer,
Yeah.
and his choice of what to play is always like right on. He plays just what's necessary, like to make it happen. So I like to meet Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah. Do you like him? He's
Yeah.
playing, man. So
Yeah.
do I, man.
Let's see. I like Bill Bruford.
I don't know the name.
With yes, originally yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should check that out.
Bill
Good
Bruford, huh?
people.
His new band. I don't know, man.
I haven't heard
But
Tony's
anyway.
new band. I just always loved Tony.
Yeah. Those guys are doing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, quite so much now because I know I'm in a different place right now.
Right.
But I used to listen and study that. And I find myself playing a lot of things like that in this
Yeah.
music
Right.
tonight. And it's very floating when the rhythm is like that.
The obvious Stevie Gadd.
Oh, it's
Man,
fantastic.
it's a good idea, though. It's just you know what I like about your style of playing is the soloing, and I especially like it. How can I phrase it? Soloing, and it kind of has a feeling like you always know where the beat is, but change time signatures, superimpose different time signatures, and the band follow it that well. It's like on that one piece where you come out.
Yeah.
That's. Is something not touched on, really. I don't know too many
What concept is that?
of being able to. So I like it to solo and playing drums, for example. He's not like really constricted in. And I think in and out. I don't know if I'll make it sense.
You are.
But you really played that way before on record either.
No, that's right.
No.
Yeah, you should get him.
I'll definitely get him.